Hi, welcome to Mulligan Speaks. I'm Annette Mulligan, helping you to live beyond your diagnosis, own your health, and create a clear dialogue between you and your doctors. And that last part is what I want to talk to you today about, creating that clear dialogue with your doctors. Have you ever been with someone and you were waiting for them as they were in with the doctor or healthcare provider and they came out and you said to them, "So, what'd the doctor say?" And they said, "I'm not really sure. There were some big words in there and it could be a problem, but I'm not really clear about exactly what it is." And well, they gave me this printout of what it is, but I don't understand exactly what it means. Well, did they give you any medication, or how are you going to treat it? Yeah, I'm supposed to pick up this medication at the pharmacy, but I'm not really sure. I have literally been with people who have said that. Now, my mind, because I'm such a questioner, goes directly to, why didn't you ask them to clarify it? Why didn't you ask them to explain it to you more fully and at a level that you could understand? It's your health, for crying out loud. I may not have said it quite like that, but something to that effect, and they'll usually come back with, "Oh, I didn't want to bother him. I know the time was short, and he kind of acted like, I should understand what he was telling me." And again, my mind just goes, "Oh my gosh, this was your time. You're the patient. It's your health. You and your insurance company are paying for him or her to look at you. You need to understand what they're talking about and what drugs or treatments that they're giving to you. You need to understand that." But I do completely understand. And please understand this, that I love the medical profession. I am alive today because of what doctors and the teams have done to allow me to definitely live beyond my diagnosis with the type 1 diabetes and even with my blindness, to be able to not let it go any further than it has at this point. Doctors go to school for, 7 or 8 years, and they are basically scientists. They are learning the scientific aspect of how to treat the human body. And after those 7 years where they've been engrossed in that medical scientific world and where they've been learning medical speak, they then are in the position where they see patients. You and me, we walk in the door, and oftentimes they're still in medical speak. They're still in science mode. And what we need more than anything is for our doctors, for our providers to stay there in that science medical area, but then to help us to understand what they're talking about and enter into the compassion zone, because each and every patient is different and our understanding is different. And we really need to, in a way, help our doctors to understand what it is that we need to know and how best they can help us. I was fortunate enough to encounter a doctor 30 years ago or so who was the first doctor who basically said, "Your diabetes is out of control and I want to help you to get it under control." We spent the next almost 20 years working together to make that happen. It didn't take a full 20 years, but that's how long I was seeing him. This doctor was amazing. He communicated at a level that I understood. He explained situations to me. This is happening, therefore this is the result of that. Therefore, this is the treatment that we need to provide for you in order to make this stop or for it to lessen its intensity in you. One of the things I loved about this doctor is he used to draw pictures for me on the patient bed, the paper there, he'd pull out his pen and he goes, come on over here, let me show you something. And he'd draw a diagram that would help me to visualize what it was he was talking about. He made it easy for me to understand what the situation was, what we needed to do to fix it, and then what the results could be so that we could move forward on to the next particular issue. And by golly, there were a lot of them during that time. He taught me how to ask the right questions. He taught me how to become responsible for my own health and for my own diagnosis and what was happening. He set the standard for every doctor that has come since then, where I walk in, and because of that experience with him, I know what questions to ask. I know how to keep track of what's happening with my health so that when I walk in and the doctor says, so what's bothering you right now, or what is it that you're here for, I can say. So it started back on this date. I treated it this way. This particular thing happened, and I'm wondering what else I can do because it's still bothering me. Not all of the things that I go to my doctors for are the diabetes related, but many of them are. A couple of years ago, I caught a cold. No big deal. Everybody was catching colds. Type 1 diabetic catching cold, however, gotta be careful with that. 2 weeks in, I was still just congested and feeling horrible, and the coughing and everything was just a hot mess. 2 weeks in, I now know at 10 days I'm supposed to call the doctor. I thought I could treat it myself. So I went in to see not my doctor, but the one that was on call. And she took a look at everything and said, well, your lungs are clear, but all the other symptoms sound like you might have walking pneumonia. So she gave me an inhaler and some other medication, went home. A week later, absolutely no difference. Just as bad in a way, if not worse. I called the advice nurse who put me on the line with the doctor, went through everything with him. He said, it sounds like you need a stronger inhaler. So stronger inhaler and some other medication. Got that. A week later, just as bad, no change whatsoever. And it dawned on me after a couple of weeks of this, they were giving me things to clear out my lungs when I was feeling everything up here in my head. This is where it was all stuck. The congestion was in my head. Yes, it's all in your head. And it wasn't my lungs, but they were treating my lungs because that tends to be the normal. So I called and got an appointment with my doctor. And when I walked in, I said to her, I've been treated for this. I've taken this medication. She could see it all in my record. But I said to her, you're treating me, or they've been treating my lungs. I think it's just up here in my head. It's the congestion that I need to get rid of. She's like, okay. So she prescribed this massive thing that I got to stick up my nose and blow out all that congestion, and antibiotics just in case this didn't work. Within 2 days, oh my goodness, the congestion had started to break up. I was starting to feel some relief. I didn't even need to take the antibiotics because that was what the problem was. The congestion was just stuck up in my head, and she listened to me. She listened to what I was saying, and she went forward with that. Oftentimes we do walk in and we don't know. We're not sure. But it helps when you do go into your doctor's office. As I said, you've got a list of things. You've got some dates. You've got some treatments that you've either tried for yourself at home or whatever other doctors have given you up to this point. But you come in prepared to have a conversation with your doctor with information that they're going to need to know. You are your own advocate. You are the one that knows what's happening to you. You know what treatment has been going on. They don't know. They can only go by what you tell them. And when you come in with, well, I don't know, I feel kind of bad, I feel kind of icky, I'm having an issue here, I'm having it there, and they ask, when did this start? And you say, I don't know, I'm not really sure. That doesn't help them. And I know it's hard sometimes when you're feeling miserable to take note of things, but you will help yourself and you will help your doctor if you can come in prepared for what this conversation can look like. And by all means, if ever they utter a phrase or a word that you have no clue what they just said, you need to, with all respect and politeness, say, yo, time out. What was that word? What did you just say to me? What phrase did you just use? And could you explain that to me, please? I almost want to say I guarantee you, but I'm not giving a guarantee here, that the more you help your doctor to understand what you know and what you don't know, the better they're going to become at communicating with you in such a way that you do understand what they're talking about. You are your best advocate, but you need to come in prepared and ready for your appointment. If it's an ongoing one or if it's a random one, you need to do your work before you go in, but then come in and help your doctor to know where you are in the process so that they can continue to help you to get better and to manage your health, to live beyond your diagnosis, to own your health, and to continue to create that clear dialogue with them. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me. You can find me at mulliganspeaks.com. You can give me a thumbs up or a like here, write a question or a comment at my website. I'd love to get your email so that I can get a dialogue going with you about perhaps some other topics you'd like to hear me think about. You can also check out my other services. I'm a coach, a speaker, presenter, an Arbonne consultant. I would love to connect with you in some way so that I can help you to move forward in owning your health. Thank you. Take care. Stay well.